Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, it's never enough? That no matter how much you earn, opportunities always seem to slip through your fingers? Perhaps you've wondered why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others, no matter how capable, remain stuck in the same financial struggle year after year. The truth is, the difference is not in their bank account, their education, or even their luck. The difference lies in something far more subtle, far more powerful: the way they think. The human mind is a vast landscape. It can imprison you in limitation or open doors to endless possibilities. Some minds operate in fear, scarcity, and restriction. Others operate in growth, opportunity, and abundance. And often, these differences are invisible until you start noticing the choices people make in the small moments of life. Today, I want to share the story of two individuals, Anderson and Brient, who started at the same point in life. Same environment, same opportunities, same resources. Yet their paths diverged, not because of luck, but because of the stories they told themselves about money, opportunity, and possibility. What you'll learn from their story may change the way you think about money forever. But first, ask yourself, are your thoughts about wealth guiding you or limiting you? Keep watching because the answer may surprise you. Anderson and Brient grew up in the same neighborhood. Both were ambitious, curious, and eager to build a meaningful life. Yet, from a young age, their perspectives on money were shaped by entirely different experiences. Anderson's parents often worried about money. They rarely had enough to cover unexpected expenses, and they frequently talked about how money is scarce and life is hard. Anderson absorbed these messages. He learned to fear risk, to hold tightly to every dollar, and to doubt his own ability to create wealth. Brient, however, had parents who emphasized opportunity. They believed in growth, learning, and taking calculated risks. They taught Brient that money is a tool, a resource to create value, and that opportunities are abundant for those willing to learn. By the time both reached adulthood, these early lessons had become deeply ingrained. Anderson approached money with hesitation and fear. Every investment, every purchase, every career decision felt like a gamble with catastrophic potential. Brient, on the other hand, approached life with curiosity. He saw opportunities where others saw barriers. He treated mistakes as lessons rather than failures. One day, both faced a decision that would reveal the real difference in their mindsets. A local startup opportunity arose, something small but promising. Anderson hesitated. "What if I lose my money?" he thought. Meanwhile, Brient leaned in. "What can I learn? How can I grow?" Little did they know this moment would be the first of many that would define the trajectory of their financial lives. And the real lesson wasn't in the startup itself, it was in their mindset. Anderson worked diligently, often long hours. Yet he was constantly anxious about spending, terrified of investing, and hesitant to take opportunities. When a promotion arose at work, he questioned himself. "Am I ready? What if I fail?" The fear of loss paralyzed him. Even when opportunities came knocking, he hesitated, waiting for the perfect moment that never arrived. Brient, on the other hand, embraced each challenge. He invested time in learning new skills, even when success wasn't guaranteed. He took calculated risks, sometimes winning, sometimes failing, but always learning. A small bonus at work wasn't spent impulsively. It was used to buy courses, books, and experiences that would multiply his potential. Even in everyday spending, the difference was evident. Anderson would obsess over every dollar, hesitating to buy something that might improve his life because of fear. Brient spent mindfully, investing in things that created value, joy, and growth. Social situations amplified the contrast. When friends bragged about new purchases or opportunities, Anderson felt envy, stress, and inadequacy. Brient saw inspiration, curiosity, and ideas. While Anderson compared himself to others, Brient measured himself against his own progress. One evening, both faced a decision to invest in a small local business. Anderson hesitated for days, analyzing every potential risk, imagining worst-case scenarios. Brient researched, planned, and invested. That decision, small as it seemed, would be a turning point in their financial journey. Ask yourself, in your own life, how often do you hesitate like Anderson, held back by fear? How often do you act like Brient, embracing opportunity and growth? The scarcity mindset focuses on limitation, fear, and lack. It triggers stress responses in the brain, narrowing perception and reducing creativity. When people operate from scarcity, they see risk everywhere and opportunity nowhere. Every financial decision becomes an anxiety-laden gamble. Scarcity leads to procrastination, hoarding, and avoidance. In short, it restricts potential. Scarcity is more than fear of losing money. It's a lens through which the world is interpreted. It affects how people perceive time, relationships, and self-worth. Scarcity thinkers often feel that life is a zero-sum game. For someone else to win, they must lose. The abundance mindset, in contrast, expands perception. It allows the brain to focus on possibilities, solutions, and long-term growth. Abundance thinkers see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. They understand that resources, knowledge, networks, and opportunities can be created, multiplied, and shared. They take calculated risks without letting fear dominate their choices. Psychologists call this the difference between growth-oriented cognition and limitation-oriented cognition. Growth-oriented individuals, like Brient, embrace learning, curiosity, and resilience. Limitation-oriented individuals, like Anderson, dwell on fear, comparison, and scarcity. Social and emotional influences reinforce these mindsets. Scarcity triggers envy, social comparison, and stress. Abundance triggers collaboration, creativity, and long-term planning. Studies in behavioral economics show that scarcity thinking even affects decision-making speed and memory. Fear narrows focus, curiosity widens it. Think about your own life. When faced with a choice, do you feel your chest tighten with fear, imagining worst-case scenarios? Or do you feel a spark of curiosity, asking, what can I learn? What can I create? Alan Watts often spoke about the illusion of limitation. He suggested that the universe is abundant, but we see it through the lens of fear and comparison. Money in itself is neither good nor bad. It is a tool. But the story we tell ourselves about money, scarcity or abundance, changes everything. Consider Anderson. Every day he worried about what he lacked. He saw doors closing everywhere. Life felt heavy, restrictive, and unfair. Brient, however, viewed life as a canvas. Opportunities existed not because of luck, but because he trained himself to see them, to create them, and to act. Our mindset is like a pair of glasses. Scarcity makes everything look small, limited, and fearful. Abundance makes the same reality expansive, full of possibility. And the fascinating part? The world hasn't changed. Only perception has. Open a mental experiment. Imagine the money, opportunities, and resources around you are infinite. What would you do differently today? How would your decisions change if you believed in abundance instead of limitation? Years went by. Anderson watched Brient succeed. Investments grow, projects flourish, learning compounded. He felt trapped in the same patterns, wishing he had acted differently. One evening, Anderson had a realization. Fear had ruled him, not reason. He could change. Shifting from scarcity to abundance is not instantaneous. It is a process, noticing limiting thoughts, challenging them, and gradually taking action in alignment with growth and opportunity. Anderson started small, reading, experimenting, learning. Slowly, he began to see doors where before he saw walls. Brient continued on his path, but he often paused to reflect. He understood that abundance is not about never failing, but about embracing uncertainty as part of the journey. Both men learned a crucial truth. Your mindset is the foundation of financial freedom, not the other way around. Notice your thoughts. Journal your financial fears and limiting beliefs. Awareness is the first step. Practice gratitude. Focus daily on what you have, not what you lack. Gratitude expands perception. Reframe challenges. Every obstacle is an opportunity to learn. Ask, what can I gain here? Take calculated risks. Step outside comfort zones incrementally. Growth requires action. Surround yourself with abundance thinkers. Mindsets are contagious. Choose your environment wisely. Visualize possibilities. Imagine what life would look like if limitation didn't exist. Let this vision guide your decisions. Years later, Anderson and Brient met again. Anderson had improved, slowly shifting his mindset. He wasn't as fearful, and he was learning to see opportunities. Brient had flourished, not because of luck, but because of consistent action aligned with abundance thinking. The lesson is
Success are reflections of the mind. Anderson could still grow, just as you can. The choice is not in your wallet, your job, or your bank account. It is in your mind. Imagine your life 5 years from now. Will you be trapped by scarcity or thriving in abundance? The answer begins with noticing your thoughts today. Scarcity keeps you confined. Abundance sets you free. Money is not the master, your mind is. Begin today by observing your thoughts, challenging fear, and acting from curiosity. Ask yourself tonight, are my financial decisions driven by fear or by possibility? What small action can I take tomorrow to step toward abundance? If you commit to this awareness, your life can transform, just like Anderson did. And maybe one day, you'll reflect and see that the world was always abundant. The only thing that changed was your mind.